So I've been a rule follower my whole life, like huge rule follower. It's the older I get, the more I realize how much of a rule follower I am, how obsessive and meticulous I am about it. And the funny thing is, I think I've told this to somebody once, well, my ex-husband. I told him once, our conversation was like, oh, I'm a huge rule follower. And he just laughed. No, you're not you're not a rule follower. You're the girl who shaves her head. It's like, yeah, because I was just laughing about that just barely. It's like, he thinks I'm not a rule follower. Like, people who look at my life, they'd be like, yeah, you're a rule follower? It's like, yeah, because I don't follow the Judeo-Christian rules. It's like, you think the only rules that exist in the immutable rules of the universe are this like Judeo-Christian culture that you grew up in. These are the immutable laws of the universe. And so to be a rule follower, I would have to be following your culture. I think that's what he thinks. Like, I think that's what it means to be ethnocentric, is when you can't even imagine that somebody could be following the rules that are not following your rules. You have rules for the way you conduct your life, and you can't even imagine that somebody else could have logical, well thought out rules that would conduct their life in a way you wouldn't choose. I think that's what it means to be ethnocentric. I think that's what it means to be culty. I think that's the exact problem of cults. I think that these gurus cropping up, these like Jesus nuts and stuff, they are really actually onto something. I think even the stuff, oh my gosh, I listen to cult stuff all the time. The Keith Raniere stuff, I think he's not just saying word salad. I think he's saying actual good things. But I think the problem with gurus is they take it a little too far, and they now think that since they said some good stuff, that now they are God. Jesus says somewhere like, watch out, they're gonna say, I am him. And I don't think, some people are literally saying that they actually literally are Jesus. So that is happening. And, but then there's also people who just say they speak for Jesus, or maybe even not Jesus, but they're like Buddha, or they speak for somebody else. They're like the head of the Hinduism, or they know all this knowledge. They're at the top. They have something cool to say, and they legitimately do have something cool to say, but then they insist everyone else do it too. Or like the rules that they have then created around their original good idea, which was an original good idea at the first, and like the rules worked for them in their life, but now they're saying like, these are rules, these are the unmutable the unmutable laws of the universe. What are the infinite, unmutable, and eternal and unmutable laws of the universe? Of course, these are the laws of the universe, because the other idea is an immutable law of the universe, likely, if it's a good idea. But then they're like gonna do a life prescription around it. It's like, it makes sense. It's like the Amish wearing the bonnet or whatever, the plain clothes. Like, that makes sense in conjunction with the eternal and immutable laws of the universe as described in the Bible. But that's not the only way to express that immutable law. Like, there are immutable laws. I think there are consciousness laws. There are immutable laws of the universe. But how we work within those constraints and express them, I think that's up to the individual. And so if you have somebody telling you, these are the immutable laws of the universe, therefore you need to do exactly as I say, it's like, yes, they might have stumbled upon an immutable law of the universe, and that could be true, and you could celebrate that stumbling and that thing and acknowledge God in like giving that things. Obviously, you're not doing it on your own. You're on the backs of giants. You're on the backs of something. Like, you're just kind of out there spiraling, like, with God's grace, like he's leading you by the hand. Likely, if you are spiraling in cool ways, you're not this like grand supreme high knower of everything that you on your own by your own merits are just like this perfect being, and now everyone should listen to you. And it might make sense that they do if the whole world ran like that, yeah, but you might be surprised when you realize like the diversity of thought is what keeps the whole world running. And if everyone ran the world like you, maybe you'd be annoyed with yourself. Like, maybe you're not all-knowing with everything, and maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you'd really get along with yourself in that way. I don't know. But it seems like the way the world works currently is through diversity. Diversity of thought is really important for the world to continue functioning, and just like allowing people's diversity of thought. It seems like that's where the problem lies in the first place, is not allowing the diversity of thought, because all those like angry emotions because people aren't thinking like you, those angry emotions are the problem. It's not that they didn't think like you that's the problem. It's that you have angry emotions around it. If you didn't have angry emotions, they didn't think like you, there would be no problem. There could be problems, though. You could warn about problems like, oh, but if you have unprotected sex, you're going to have a baby and you might get a disease. And you're going to cause problems with your disease spreading. But the emotional problems around that are simply the person in, like, deciding. The person is just deciding that they're going to be emotionally, having an emotional negative reaction because somebody chose something that they didn't like. Like, I find the majority of problems are that. Like, the problem is that the person had a negative emotional reaction. And the solution is, well, you need to not do that, so that way I don't have these negative emotional reactions. See, you're hurting your mother with your actions. Don't you know you're hurting your mother? You know, that kind of thing. It's like, well, the mother could just choose not to have hurt feelings and like just live her own life. I don't know. That also is an option for the mother. Like, that's within the mother's realm of fixing her own self, right? And the daughter, the prodigal daughter out there doing her own stuff, like, isn't really responsible for the mother's emotional state. Yes, the mother might look down the path every day hoping to see the daughter, of course. But, like, you're still responsible for your own state and responsible for your own happiness and cultivating and finding joy anyway, no matter what's going on in your life. And it's not the daughter's job to return in order to restore the mother's peace, but it is the mother's job to restore peace in her heart already, whether the daughter returns or not. And then if the daughter returns, sure, let's have a party.